today's episode is an episode. No, today's episode I'm going to be reviewing from the Breaking Bad television show. We're in season 2, episode 2. Title of the episode is Grilled. Now, I know people. You've heard this. You've heard this. You've heard this hypothetical. You've heard my dog just bit my finger. Uh, just ate my dinner. I guess I didn't wash my hands that good, and she thought my hand was a piece of meat. Technically, is a piece of meat, but not for you. Not for you. Anyway, still got the meal in the background. This is episode 2 of season 2, titled "Grilled." Now, like I was saying, now I know you've heard people throw this hypothetical out there. Well, California is could be its own country. Blase, blase, blah. Bless you, doggy. Blase, blase, blah. Reason I bring that up is this episode could be its own. This episode could be a movie. I know that's saying a lot for an episode of a television show. It's not that it's long. It's not long. It's pretty much average. It's pretty much uh, on average with the other episodes that I've seen so far. Shirt. I got all this stuff on my shirt. But like I was saying, it's pretty much on same level as it's pretty much runs the same amount of time as the other episodes in this series. But the reason that I say it's so good it's standalone, there's so many the the, the little details. Sorry for stuttering. The little details makes the biggest difference in viewing something. Now, of course, I'm gonna skip around the episode, and I'm not gonna go in chronological order, but there's an instance when one of the characters that's introduced in this episode has a bell. That's the only way he can communicate with the others, is by tapping a bell. Now, the ominous. I'm gonna try and not use big words. The fact that bell leaves a lasting impression on me as a viewer throughout the whole episode, right from the point it's introduced. So after hearing that bell, it pretty much transports me. It's done very well. The beginning of the episode also they're doing this thing where they're trying to um they've already won me over. The series has already won me over at this point, but they're doing a great job of reeling you into each episode by putting an event that happens closer towards the end of the episode, right when it fades from black. I'm trying to use teleplay terms, which I shouldn't be doing, but right when the picture comes on, you get you get this you get smacked in the face with a setting, a sound, and some type of commotion. You're like, what was that? Of course you're going to be invested in this episode. It's so good. The episode, I'm so excited to see what that was at the beginning. I'm not even really paying attention to a lot of the like uh filler that they're using with each particular character. I'm so happy. I think this is one of my after watching it. This is right as of right now. This is my favorite episode. Um, so the episode goes on without a hitch. But they're starting from the last episode. Mr. White and Pinkman basically were kidnapped at the end of the first episode, which I think I mentioned in the last upload. That could have been a season finale, not a beginning. Not the first episode in the season. That could have been the season finale. But anyway, so I'm curious to see what's going to happen to Mr. White and Pinkman. They're with this Tuco character that they've that the series has introduced, and he's obviously crazy. Obviously. Uh, Fun fact, probably the only thing I do know about firearms, he has a Car 15, which I uh, I really like that weapon. You could probably see it best in other films and movies, probably in Heat. And the shootout, the famous shootout scene in Heat, one of the bad guys has, I think it's Robert De Niro actually. He has a Car 15. That gun goes all the way, well, that rifle, excuse me, that rifle goes all the way back to the Vietnam era. That's an old, but very efficient weapon. Um, back to the story. So they're out in the middle of nowhere. That's my dog. She's going crazy. They're out in the middle of nowhere with Tuco's Theo, or his uncle. I was going to say it in English. With his uncle, and his uncle is immobilized to a certain to a certain point. He can't talk. He's on oxygen. He's in a wheelchair. Like I said earlier, the only way he can communicate is with this bell. It's like it's a bell commonly found in probably most recognizable in hotels or motels. Bing, bing, for service. It's one of those bells. It's the only way to communicate. They're stuck in this damn room with him. And of course, at this time, his wife, his brother-in-law, sister-in-law, and his son are all out posting up missing persons flyers looking for him. The brother-in-law, being in law enforcement, is asking favors, and he's tracking down leads, unveiling another secret that Mr. White has two different cell phones. Yippee! Raises more suspicion in the family. Well, raises suspicion, period. Of course, the wife is only concerned with his well-being first and foremost, but also he may be cheating, which I'm like, even I'm like, nah, I don't buy that character would be doing that. He's madly in love with her. Anyway, so they continue. The episode continues. He keeps getting break after break. Really, he's actually they. Oh yeah, I didn't think of it like that. This is actually a showcase of the brother-in-law as not being like kind of like uh uh I don't think they ever really character or ever really portrayed him as a doofus, but they definitely did a job of portraying him as less than intelligent. So this actually shows that he's good at his job because he does follow up on leads and he does do actual policing work, and it actually leads him right to or message actually leads him right to Mr. White and Pinkman, but he has his hands full with Tuco, of course. Now that's closer to the end of the episode. I mean, there's pretty much nothing else in there. It's all the episodes. It's not filled. It's not 100% filler. The suspense and the setting and of course the actors was what makes the episode. And I stand by what I said earlier. This could be its own movie. It's that good. If it's drawn out into a screenplay in like the format of 2 hours and they add a few more characters into it, it's a blockbuster. Seriously. But it's condensed for TV, of course, and to fit the giving setting and work in the characters already pre-existing characters. So that's where we're at with that. It ends with the brother-in-law like coming full circle. After doing the policing work, he has to take a life. He kills Tuco. And of course, we find out what that sound was. Now I was like, man, oh god, here we go. It sounds like a bed, or a box spring being shaken, uh, due to intercourse. So I'm like, are they getting it in at the beginning of the movie, at the beginning of the show? Jesus, here we go. But no, it's Pinkman's car bouncing up and down. Found out that that car 15 was sitting on top of the controls for the car, and when Tuco reaches in to get that weapon, he accidentally hits one of the switches and makes the car start bouncing, and he sprays on automatic at the brother-in-law. Brother-in-law's just returning fire, and then they bring up it's the little things. A mag change is the difference between life and death. You can see that he's actually practiced that. Quick, change that mag. Changes that mag. Gun's ready to go. He's sitting there. He's sitting there waiting. Well, Tuco's wounded by this time because there was a struggle between Tuco and Pinkman. So Tuco's has a gunshot wound at this point, so he's a little bit slower. He's waiting. Tuco puts his head back up. Pow! One shot lays Tuco out. There were some little things in there. Oh, I cannot overlook Tuco's the actor who played Tuco's uncle, his Tio. I can't overlook his performance in here. Not in character, not being able to say a word, only being able to use that bell. It was good. Maybe I'm overselling it a little bit, but I think it was pretty good. It was really good. The suspense built up in that room is unbelievable. Pinkman and Mr. White are trying to poison Tuco. They're missing out. They're unsuccessful. This guy can't really talk, but he's trying to communicate the best way he can. Is he going to find out? Is he going to find out? And he ultimately finds out. And, it leads up to them almost being executed. But quick thinking by Pinkman I think he threw a rock and some dirt in Tuco's face is what created the initial separation. And then, of course, what I've explained earlier unfolds. But I think, yeah, so far this is my favorite episode, and I think I'm starting to say this every week now. I can't wait to the next episode. Till then, well, not till then. I'll be back tomorrow with Futurama, 2 more episodes of that, and I'm going to change the format for my movie reviews. I'm going to be posting separate reviews instead of too much together. I think it's too long, and I'm comparing one another, comparing each of the movies, and a lot of times they don't have anything to do with each other. I just happen to see both of them that week, and to be honest with you, after doing my research, a little bit of research, seeing what other reviewers do, um, I'm just gonna continue to be myself. Uh, I'm not a movie major in some type of college or vocational school or whatever you want to call it. I'm simply a consumer of these shows, and I enjoy them, and I'm just giving you opinion on it. But I'm gonna separate the movies in order to won't necessarily be long-winded, but in order to give a more rounded review of each movie versus uh, versus like 7 minutes on one movie and then like 3 on another one. Some magical number I'm trying to get up to or whatever. But that's what I'm doing. So tomorrow's Futurama, and then I'll have the 2 movies separately.